right, welcome back with us. We have Brian King with us, who's serving now with Northeast Fellowship, and is a graduate of Clark Summit University from 1992. Brian, could you take a minute here and tell us how God has been working in your life since you graduated?
Sure. Thanks, Kevin. Great to be with you on this day of giving and referrals. My last year at CSU was also my first year in ministry. I was part of starting a church in the Newburgh, New York area, and I stayed there for 20 years and had the adventure of a lifetime serving in the New York metro area. And then the Lord called us to a church upstate, West Windsor Baptist, where I served for about 8 years. And that was a storybook experience with the Lord writing a great and memorable story in our time there. And now I've just started the 6th year of serving our Northeast Fellowship of Churches, being a pastor to pastors, and then serving in all the ways we can to raise up happy, healthy churches, lots of live events, weekend conferences that we do for men, women, teens, married couples, pastors and churches, and more. So we're thankful for the ministries and opportunities and the preparation I got to launch all of this in days at CSU.
That's awesome. I love how you've gotten to share about your varied experiences, and ministry is always a wild trip to be a part of, but God is always moving. Can you share some of your fondest memories or experiences from your time at CSU that had a lasting impact on your life and career?
My answer probably sounds like every other alumnus answer, and that is the teachers and the friends. The professors were just highly inspirational to me, learning to communicate, like Dr. Terry Zabolski, our pastoral prof, learning to motivate, like Dave Benning, our missions prof, learning to lead, like Dr. Thompson, our president. And then, of course, soaking up all the great knowledge from our professors, Dr. Lytle, now serving as our president, and Mr. Schlegel, so many more. I really want to stress that all the professors and all of the staff played into my life in strong ways. And then the friends, it was just great to be a part of a group for 4 years where we lived together, worked together, studied together, and made bonds that last to this day. Earlier this week, some old friends were calling up and praying with me and for me. A lot of great bonds that started way back then.
That's awesome. And I love the legacy that CSU has of such godly men and women. And it's so cool for me to get to interact with people who were directly impacted and influenced by people that we have named buildings after here.
Yeah.
That's such a cool experience to me to hear this legacy and to experience that on a
It's a
more
trip
personal
down memory
basis.
lane. I think of Carter Dorm, named for Dr. Carter. He was the prof I got to know the most and the best. And he'd say, come on up to my office at 6 in the morning and we'll pray together. Or come on over to my house at 9 o'clock at night. And by the way, you need to get back to campus. Here's my keys. Take my car. My wife will bring me in tomorrow. And that dynamic between the professors and students is somewhat unique and very special at CSU.
Absolutely. It really is an experience like no other. So what advice would you have for current and prospective students who are aspiring to integrate their Christian faith into their careers and to make this positive impact on their communities?
For prospective students, give serious consideration and a lot of prayer to this decision, because CSU can really fuel your faith and take you to the next level. And then for current students, enjoy the ride. Soak it in. I'm glad you're there and make the most of this special time.
Absolutely. So many people that I talk to, they look back on their college days, wherever they were, and they talk about how those are the good old days. And this is, but I think specifically for CSU students, it's that intentional living in community that really makes such a huge difference. And I love how our dorms are set up so that
Mhm.
we really build in this community aspect into every element of living. It's not the corridor style dorms with rooms that look identical on every side of the wall, all the way down as far as you can see. It's this, hey, family living atmosphere. It's a safe, comfortable environment. And for the parents out there, I'm sure, knowing that you've got, real life grown-ups living in the dorm, looking over your kids as well. That's such a great feature of what we
Mhm.
do here.
It's extra special and personal, and you'll never have another time quite exactly the same as you do at CSU, where you just walk out of your room and there's someone there, there's something happening, and all of it with the opportunity to really help you in your spiritual growth.
Amen. So, as we look to close out here, supporting CSU can help future students to experience this same kind of community lifestyle, this Christ-centered career readiness, where everybody
Mhm.
on campus is looking out for what's best for you. And we're looking to help students get involved in this faith-driven education that you've received. So, what ways do you think current alumni who are listening to this can make a lasting impact to contribute to the university's mission of raising up this next generation of Christ-centered, career-ready leaders?
We can talk about the uniqueness of CSU and how the environment is truly one of a kind. It can launch you into ministry, it can prepare you to see everything through a biblical grid. The atmosphere is really something special. And then, obviously, on this day of giving, we think of giving as ministries, we just drip with financial needs. And there's always a need and an opportunity to give. And then with referrals, we think first of our own kids. My wife and I are glad we have a son who's a graduate of CSU, and we love to recommend the university to others as well. And sometimes in your church, you can simply make what to you might be almost a passing comment, just telling a student, boy, I could see this as a good place for you, or I could see CSU helping you get to the next level. And it's interesting when we look back after students have chosen their college, how often they say an almost off the cuff comment like that was used in a major way for them to kind of seal the deal of their decision.
Amen. Yeah, that little moment of connection is, hey, I think this would be a great fit for you. But
Mhm.
Brian, I want to thank you for your time. And before we go, where can people find out more about you, what you're doing with Northeast Fellowship, and how they can get involved with that?
Best spot, our website, nfibc.org, as in Northeast Fellowship of Independent Baptist Churches, nfibc.org. Plus, we have multiple pages on Facebook, and we have a spot on Instagram and all the social media sites.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate your time and hearing how God has been working in you and your life. Praying that God will continue to bless you in your ministry.
Hey, right back at you. Thanks, Kevin, for all you do for CSU.
My pleasure. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks, you too.